Today's episode is brought to you by the book Everyone is a Sinner But Me, available now at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Live from Volpe Studios, it's the MCS1 show featuring Supreme Chancellor West. And now your host, MCS1.
Welcome everyone to another exciting edition of the MCS1 show. I am MCS1 and today I am joined by my dear friend, Supreme Chancellor West. Welcome, Supreme Chancellor West. What's going on, man?
Hey kids, how you doing?
But the way you say like, hey kids, how you doing? Reminds me of like a 80s rap group type guy. Oh, it's like, hey kids, how you doing? Just for those listening at home, when Wes said that, he turned his chair backwards and sat in it. He's pretty street.
Thug life.
So the reason I invited Supreme Chancellor West onto the show is I wanted to discuss a really interesting topic. A lot of people have been messaging me, like text messaging, email, and they're like, how come you don't discuss things about relationships? When are you going to discuss things about relationships? Question to be answered. Not really something I do. I didn't really think it fed into the show's dynamic, but I wanted to give it a try. I'm happy to announce that we have West here today. And today we're going to discuss something very interesting for all the guys and girls out there in dating La La Land. We're going to be discussing the ladder theory. So let's just begin with the Urban Dictionary definition.
The Urban Dictionary, the ultimate source of knowledge, at least on this show.
And there was a couple of really good definitions on here, but personally I love the third one. And it says, a nerd's attempt to rationalize his lacking sex life taken to the extreme. However, it's utterly hilarious, so don't take it seriously. Then in parentheses it says, please. I'm guessing this was written by a nerd.
Nerd.
Just out of curiosity. So I was introduced to the ladder theory about maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it was when I met you.
I was going to be like, when I met West, I was like, how long have we known each other, West? Like, year and a half.
Yeah.
Year and a half. Yeah. That's when I was introduced to it. And I was just like, when he first told it to me, I was like, whatever, man. And then I started looking it up and getting into the details. And I was like, wow, this really makes sense for the most part. And then I was hearing different things from my friends talking about things with their issues with the friend zone. And I was like, wow, this is interesting stuff. And so I kind of wanted to have West on the show, talk about the ladder theory, done a lot of just random research on it. And I think it'd be good to have some insight from the expert. So West.
The expert. Oh, funny.
So West, like generally speaking, like to you, besides the Urban Dictionary definition, what is the ladder theory?
I think the ladder theory is an explanation to point out what you're doing wrong.
Okay, like wrong in dating? Or
wrong in dating, right? Wrong in trying to get in relationships. You can't nice your way into a relationship.
Oh.
It just doesn't work that way. The red pill, there's a bunch of other ones out there. I think there's a lot of manipulation techniques that people say you have to play the game.
I've been reading recently, off and on, kind of The Game by Neil Strauss.
Yes.
Or whatever, written about him following the pickup artist known as Mystery.
Yeah.
Who is just like a whole can of crazy.
And they get that right because women do like the whole mystery part of it to be able to
the dude's name is Mystery.
Oh, his name's Mystery.
The dude's name is Mystery.
Oh.
Whole can of crazy.
Okay. All right.
I mean, just crazy. It was, what was that? There was a show it was like The Pickup Artist. I think it was on VH1 and he was the guy who would like show these nerds how to pick up on chicks.
Oh, gotcha.
Kind of thing. It's that guy if you're familiar with that.
Gotcha.
So, sorry, continue though.
You can get stuck in ruts going down the whole ladder theory part of it. And basically the basis for it is there's two ladders that women have. There's the romance ladder and the friendship ladder.
Or the friend zone.
And the friend zone ladder, yes.
Friend zone ladder.
And usually you can't hop from one ladder to the next. I've seen it happen before, but it's not...
Not everyone can be Jim Halpert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That usually there's some type of monumental change that has to happen.
Like what type of monumental change exactly, like a monumental change within the girl or a monumental change within the guy or both, or like just a crazy event like the apocalypse?
Well, the things I've noticed is time. Like there was a girl. I remember the first date I ever went on with her years ago when it was an online dating and let's meet type of thing. And I remember she opened the door, and I'd gone on like 8 different online dates, and she opens the door, and she's just drop dead, perfect and gorgeous. And I was like, I am the bad date tonight. Crap. And I tried everything to get a second date out of her, and it just was a no-go.
Oh.
And then years later, it was probably 13 years later, we crossed paths again, and she forgot about me. But I didn't forget about her.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, wow.
I bought you dinner once.
Yes, you owe me. Friendship. And I remember, we talked about it later on, and she fell for me. And she wanted to marry me and stuff. And I realized, you know what? I didn't want to marry her.
Ooh.
And it wasn't that I hated her or anything, but it's funny how we put people on pedestals and almost worship the ground they walk on. And then when they become human, you start to realize, you know what? This might not be the best thing for me, because we all have our baggage. And, like for me, myself, I like to aim towards, what, I'm working towards a better life. This is my life right here. And how is somebody else going to affect it? And if the answer is, I'm looking for a woman that my life is better with her, not without her. And that's where I started realizing, you know what? That eliminates a lot of people, because I have a pretty good life. And
not to brag or anything. But Wes has got a pretty good thing going.
I do. I don't deal with all the that is going on in the world. I wake up in the morning. I like my job. I have a great relationship with my daughter. Low stress. There's no fight. Depression, anxiety.
Wes, we should hang out more often. I can make sure that you will have a crappy life.
You are on the other ladder, Mark.
I'm on the. I just moved to the friendship ladder, to the bottom rung. I might.
Oh my. I think people try to complicate this whole dating process, and I did it myself. We all want to be validated, and we all want to be loved, and I think there comes a point where you just have to realize, you know what, this is my life. I'm doing what I'm doing. I like it. I'm not a taker, and I'm not manipulative. And the conclusion I came to was there's a lot of garbage out there, and there's a lot of crappy advice. I woke up one day and I thought, you know what? There's a lot of dead ends that I date that I know it's not going to go anywhere. They just want me there for convenience. And there's other women that I was dating where I kind of knew I wasn't going to marry them. And I needed to get rid of all those dead ends, all of them, and just eliminate and open up a space for the right person to come into it. And less than 30 days later, somebody appears.
Nice.
Yes. And I didn't have to deal with this ladder theory or the red pill or any of these don't call her too quick or anything like that. Because
basically all these theories that we were going to discuss for fun, we've just debunked.
Yeah. I have the don't dick around theory. And what I mean by that is I just came to the conclusion, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to find one person that wants to have a healthy relationship. I don't have to have a ton. I just need one. And I figured if I was clearing my plate before I ever met her and all this other garbage that was going on, because, you get a text message on a date and then there's questions and somebody can't get off their cell phone. And by the way, if you're on a date with somebody, ignore your cell phone.
Put away the cell phone.
Put away the cell phone.
That is the biggest turnoff.
Yeah.
Ever.
Respect the person's time if they're there.
If they're a really bad date, like what I want to do next time, if I'm on a date and someone pulls out their cell phone, I think I'm going to pull out Tinder, like right in front of them and just start swiping.
Oh, no. I think the best thing to do is just never ask them out again.
Well, yeah, but I want to send a message.
Oh, jeez.
And that message is, I'm a jerk.
Oh, my.
Interesting that you mentioned the dating for convenience just because someone's there. I read an article the other day from the great Huffington Post, I actually hate HuffPost. I
Okay.
really hate it. But I actually found it was actually a really good article, and it was called "We Are the Generation That Doesn't Want Relationships," and it just talks about that we want someone to talk to, we want someone to text, we want someone to just kind of be around us, but we don't want a relationship. We don't want to work for it. We just want someone kind of there.
Now, when you say we, I think there's people classified in different groups. There's a book that was written called Attached.
Yes, I've read,
And
I've been reading this.
and there was 4 types of attachments. There was the avoidant, there was the secure, there was the anxious, and there was the avoidant anxious. And the avoidant anxious only was part of maybe a couple percent of the population. And that only happens to people in like maybe highly abusive homes.
Yeah.
But the other styles were out there, like as a whole group of the world, half of them are probably secure. But the thing about the secure is they don't get recycled into the gene pool of dating.
No, they get picked up by each other.
Yeah, typically when an attached marries another, or a secure marries another secure, they stay married and they don't get divorced. Avoidants have the highest divorce rate out there, and you'll find them at least divorced 2-3 times. They'll be single for a while. You'll see them. They typically, a relationship with them is like paying for a candy bar. $1,000 is what it costs. It's really expensive.
No, like if I was in any of these categories, I would be avoidant. And that's what I thought when I was reading the book. And I remembered I was looking back, I'm like, oh, man. And I was actually dating a girl for a while who was the same style. She was also avoidant. And we just could not make it work at all because we were both we had too much in common at that point.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet over the age of 30 and higher, 90% of the people out there are avoidant. I think, with anxious can date anxious styles, but they become overly attached and they become enmeshed. And I don't think that's healthy either. They need to practice healthy detachment. And they have a really life, like they lose their identity because the relationship, maybe they define themselves by the woman or the man they're with.
So basically it is the crazy girl from Wayne's World.
Ah, yes, she is anxious.
Yeah, very much.
Yes.
Buying a gun rack.
Yep.
And what was her name? She was nuts.
I don't remember.
I can't remember for the life of me either. So let's move back to the ladder theory. Talk about this. So basically, like what you were saying earlier, 2 ladders.
There's 2 ladders.
The friend zone and the romance zone.
Yes. Yeah, and people, I personally think they decide pretty darn quick which ladder you're on.
I think so too.
I think it's 8 seconds is about what you're given.
Whoa, I was not thinking that quick. I was thinking first impression, but I wasn't thinking...
You have 8 seconds to make a first impression.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of like prison. I got to walk out into the middle of the yard, find the biggest guy, and knock him out, right?
Oh, my.
First day of jail.
Oh, wow.
Not quite. Okay. But yeah, I think that too.
Yeah, and
it's pretty quick. I don't know about that quick though.
I think it probably is. I mean, you can get out of it, but there's a lot of variables that have to change with it. Like if you're working on yourself, at least this is the theory I adhere to. If I'm working on myself, whether I'm going to the gym and I'm getting better looking, or I have a better job and I'm I have these skills to survive in the world better.
Because chicks like guys with skills.
Yeah,
like
nunchuck skills. Yeah,
computer hacking skills.
Yeah. But I did come to another conclusion. I know there's a lot of people out there that feel inadequate in dating. It's never enough. And one thing I recognize is, there are a lot of people out there too, especially in the state of Utah. There's a lot of perfectionism going on. And it is,
oh man, it's scary.
And it's never enough. And the good thing is you only need one person. That's the one person you have to find. And once you figure that one out and you realize, what, I'm going to get rejected and I'm okay with it because I'm not trying to make it work with everyone and meet a cute girl and try to work with her. you go in, you pay attention, filter her out, if she's on her cell phone constantly. Facebook, if she has tons and tons of selfies she posts, she's probably narcissistic.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I'm like, it sounds narcissist status.
Yeah. Yeah. You want somebody that actually cares about your feelings and, is not going to forget your birthday or blow it off. It's not, you're not.
You want someone with basic human empathy.
Exactly. You want your equal and not one of these relationships that's owner and pet.
Yeah. Like looking for a trophy wife or husband.
Yeah, well, those are arrangements. Those aren't relationships. Those are arrangements.
Really?
Yeah.
If you go into that a bit more, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, a buddy of mine pointed it out to me because, here you got, like, let's say a wealthy doctor goes out and finds this beautiful woman and marries her. Well, their arrangement is basically he will make the money and he'll provide the lifestyle she wants. And she needs to go to the gym and eat right and work out. And she looks great. She ends up being a trophy wife. But if either of those dip at all and there's something that happens where maybe she gains weight or he has a malpractice lawsuit and there's issues that come up in the relationship.
The whole thing goes to crap, huh?
It goes to crap and they will find somebody else.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting. Never quite thought about it. It makes sense upon hearing it.
Yeah. But a true relationship, I think it's more, that's your life partner and you're both equals and, it's not.
Sounds like an equally bad decision on both parts.
Yeah. And the only way I could see maybe that healthy relationship going sour is if somebody's actually making the conscious choice where, like, in life is a tandem bicycle and one of them's not pedaling and the other one's pedaling. You give them a break. Maybe there's health issues or other things like that. And, ebbs and flows. Sometimes they don't have anything to give that day, but the next day they have a lot to give because it's not 50-50. But if somebody's around, it's just time to get rid of them, move on. There's somebody else out there that wants you. You don't have to put up with somebody that just kind of keeps you around thinking, what is it? Your second meat, that you're only an option. You're not a priority.
Yeah. And that's why that's kind of why I found this ladder theory interesting in the girl spectrum, because I was thinking about a girl a while ago. She liked me. I didn't really like her. But she was going through some stuff and I was being really nice to her. And for Valentine's Day, I took her out to dinner and we both were working late that night. So it was later Valentine's Day. So we went to Denny's. It was the only place open in the town that closes at 9 o'clock.
Sounds romantic.
I know, seriously. So romantic. Then we went back to my place, watched a movie. Insert my other friend who was interested in her as I was just being nice. So she put me on the romance ladder. She put him on the other ladder, and he was giving her rides, buying her random crap or food or whatever. And when they would hang out, she would randomly just bring me up, and she would not shut up to him about the Denny's thing, that I took her to Denny's or whatever. And so he's stuck on this ladder, and I'm stuck on the other ladder, when it probably would have been nice if we both could switch.
Gotcha.
So I remember hearing about the ladder theory for the first time, and I remember thinking, oh, this person totally applies.
Yeah. I think one of the problems with being on the friend zone ladder is your habits. You end up being kind of a doormat.
Yeah, you really do.
And anything goes. And I realized, you know what? There is value to myself self-worth that I didn't pay attention to, or I didn't think I had self-worth. And so I'd put up with it. And then one day it just clicked and it realized, you know what? I got better things to do with my time. And you know what? If this isn't going anywhere, I just need to shut it down. I'm a kind man. I'm not going to be a dick about it. Shove
that ladder down.
Yeah, shut that ladder down. Off that ladder. I just think on the friendship zone, I'm sorry, but I think it's a tool women use to get stuff out of men. I do have a couple female friends that it's more of the guy friendship, because you think about friendships with guys, what are the two main things that guys do in their friendships? Number one is, if somebody's got to move a dryer or a washer, you call up one of your buddies. You don't call up a girl, but you call up one of your buddies to help move it. And the other one was, if you're in a tough time, like I went through a divorce, And I had a couple buddies that stepped up, and they tried giving me a bunch of money, more money than I've ever seen before.
Wow.
And one was saying, just pay me back when you can. And the other one says, oh, I totally forgot about it. And I was like, I'm not.
Introduce me to that friend, will you? I'm not going through a divorce. I'm just looking for money.
Well, you got to remember, guy code is you don't steal another man's tools, and you pay back. You're not a taker, because guys watch out for each other. Really good guy friends do. And I just think a lot of females can't see that. As
we're gonna get some nasty emails from the people that like the new Ghostbusters right about now.
Oh wow!
I could just see it. The feminist emails are going to be rolling in from these comments.
Well, they want you to open your wallet up, and I mean I get it. Guys,
and this isn't everyone.
No, it's not everyone.
It's not everyone.
A guy's got to take care of his girl. I mean, I totally believe in that. But if the girl's just taking him for a ride and you feel it, you just got to get out and move on.
Yeah, and if you have friends that are telling you, "Hey, stop this," it might be worth. If it's one friend, I can understand you being like, "Oh, whatever." But if it's, more than 7, I think it's a safe bet that you should evaluate this type of behavior.
Your friends are going to see it different than you. This girl, you're hot to trot. You think she's hot stuff. And you're thinking with, Mr. Willie there. And that your friends aren't thinking that way. They're looking and saying, well...
They got the outside perspective.
They do.
And what they're seeing is you're paying a ton of money to be around this girl... And she's just kind of stringing you along.
Completely. Absolutely.
And that happens, especially here in Happy Valley.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. Back where I used to work, there was a girl, and she would get on Tinder, and every time that she would have a match on Tinder, she would be like, free meal? Every time. Because she knew someone was going to take her out and buy her food.
Yeah.
And then, same company. I had another girl there who would talk about, she said to me once, she goes, well, I'm really low on food this week, so I'm going to download Tinder.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, man, what?
That
just feels a little wrong to me.
You know what? And that's their choice. And, it's the sucker's choice to buy into it. But it's your choice. Do you play into it or not?
Did you hear about the Yogurtland thing?
Nuh-uh.
Oh, you didn't? We talked about this on the show a while ago. Bunch of BYU bros set up a fake Tinder account. To have a bunch of bros meet up at Yogurtland. Just kept matching up. Everyone was like, hey, meet up with me at Yogurtland. And like a ton of these guys, 80 plus people. It happened like 2 years ago. So, I mean, there's lots of suckers in the world. But here, especially.
Yeah.
Moving away from the girls' ladder theory section, let's talk about the guys.
Oh, the guys' ladder theory. Well, yeah, okay.
Now I'm not going to lie. I don't fully agree with this one as much.
No, I agree with it, because the reason I say it,
Let's talk about what it is first.
Well, on a ladder theory with guys, he's got the girls that he wants to have a relationship with, and he wants to have sex with, and then there's the girls he doesn't want to have a relationship with, but still have sex with.
And it's just all one ladder.
Yeah.
It's all one ladder. Friends, relationships, friends with benefits, promiscuous partners, all on one ladder. And I don't...
Wow.
To me, I don't fully agree with that.
Yeah.
Because there's some, like, I got some friends who are girls,
mm-hmm.
and there's, like, certain friendship things that I'll do with them, but, like, I don't want to date them or have a relationship with them or have sex with them. And it's not just a couple, it's, like, quite a few.
Well, yeah, but maybe she's pushing.
Possibly.
Maybe she's the one that's carrying this torch for a relationship, and you're not.
Probably. It's probably in my avoidant relationship style.
Probably.
Most likely.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't agree with it, though, because I feel like I got 2 ladders going. I don't feel like it's one solid ladder to me. Maybe I'm a chick. Maybe I identify. Maybe I'm a chick. No.
Yeah, don't go there.
Yeah. This got dark fast. But what are your thoughts on that?
Life is not black and white, but it's varying degrees of it. And so maybe one guy has a little bit more of, 2 ladders, and another guy might have just straight one ladder. and it kind of goes in and out.
So my question is, what is your best advice that you can give to someone who is stuck on the friend zone ladder and they're trying to make the hop over to the romance ladder, like how Mario would if he was playing against Donkey Kong, like jumping ladders?
If you really want to jump the ladder, gosh, it's easier to just get rid of them and go find somebody that likes you for you.
So it's better to just burn that bridge and find someone else.
Just move on. Don't be a doormat. Don't be a pushover. I mean, if you really want to, you can go all the avenues of money and sex, going to the gym and pursuing all these things to make yourself better catch. But ultimately, and can you even trust her if, that was the only reason that she gravitates towards her? I've known a couple guys, like my roommate. I mean, he's a built guy, and he goes to the gym all the time. And I remember we were joking around over the weekend, and some girl asked him what he does for a living, and he was teasing her. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I work for Thunder Down Under." And she's like, "Seriously?" And he goes, "Yeah, I go down to Vegas every once in a while and make some money, and then I come back up here to Salt Lake." And she bought it. She completely bought it.
I was about to buy it too. I'm like, "That really what he does?"
Yeah, but we were joking around, and I found it interesting because he had 2 shirts on, and she goes, you need to take one of those shirts off. And he took one of them off, and then she goes, "You need to take another shirt off." And I go, "Jonathan, you know how that makes me feel when you take your shirt off. It makes me really feel inferior." And he goes, "Well, whenever you're funnier than me, I feel inferior." And I thought, you know what? We have 2 guys. We're chasing each other's tail, thinking the other one has the answers, and we didn't.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't chase people. Do your own thing. Work hard. The right people are going to come into your life.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Since we're kind of on the topic of that, is girls with status or guys with status, and how girls are attracted to them.
Oh, you're talking financial status or
Financial
power?
status and power.
Yeah. Status and power plays a part. I mean, the 2 reasons. The number one reason a woman gets married is for safety and security. What's the number one reason a guy gets married? It's sex. It's a sex appeal. We're just built that way, and that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, they say, "Are you being shallow?" You know what? You need to pay attention to some of these other things, because if your gut's going off and you're seeing red flags and you ignore them, you're going to pay the price later on in life.
True. Very true. But it's very interesting that you mentioned like the prestige, power, safety, security thing. I've mentioned recently I did a huge shift in my job. I went from managing like 6 different apartment complexes to general manager of a marketing firm.
Uh-huh.
And the one before, I mean, it was not like it sounds really good, like a prestigious job, but general manager got a huge ring to it.
Yeah.
And I've noticed when I would tell women that, like, and it's not like something I would go around flaunting. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm general manager of a marketing firm."
Uh-huh.
It was, they would ask, like, what do you do for work? I'm like, "Oh, I'm general manager of a marketing firm." I noticed the reactions were a lot more positive, and they were instantly asking me a lot more questions than when I had a much more interesting job of managing apartment complexes.
And maybe it was a confidence thing on your part too. I've noticed, like, with the confidence,
Could be.
you kind of is not going to put up as much crap, and so
I don't know. I was just as confident then, probably more so.
Oh my!
Because now I moved into this new position. I don't know what I'm doing. It's not that bad.
Oh wow! I don't know what to tell you about that one. Then maybe I'm wrong.
I just thought it was interesting and worth bringing up. Wes, do you have any other insights or anything else that you want to share about the ladder theory? Any side theories that you have that you want to dive into?
I do want to be fair with women, and that is, I do think money does matter. You do want a good provider, because the last thing you want to do is be a woman with a couple kids living in a cardboard box. Because if it wasn't for women, us men, we'd probably be okay with living in a cardboard box.
I don't know. I don't think I could. I don't like the sound of cardboard. So living in a cardboard box would drive me insane.
Plywood. Okay, a plywood box.
I take a plywood box.
Yeah, okay, a plywood box.
If it's got an outlet so I can hook up a humidifier and a computer, I'd probably be fine.
Oh, funny.
Okay, but any other theories or insights or anything else that you want to?
Just what we talked about earlier, the one I reiterated, where I thought, just get rid of all the garbage out of your life. Know what you want. Make a list. Make a list of what you're looking for, so you're aware of it. You have no idea how many people I've come across. I mean, obviously, it was more with women than men, where I'd start asking probably questions, and I'd find out they don't even know what they want, and how can they even know they want you if they don't have a clue what they want?
Priorities, people.
But if you make a list, you're going to know it when it passes in front of you.
Nice.
But you get 3 big wishes. Statistically, well, maybe you might get a 4th. And the reason I say it is because there was a research study done that I read about over the past year or two. And they took all these qualities that everybody has, whether you were good looking, money, funny, athletic, whatever it is, these above average qualities. Now, when I say above average, I'm saying like if somebody is good looking on a scale of 1 to 10, there may be a 10 or an 8. The average person's only maybe a 5 or a 6 on physical appearance. And so
about a 4. Maybe a 4.5 on a good day.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But like
keeping it real. Real depressing.
Real depressing, nice. Income, that's another one where, above average, let's say, I don't know what it is, the demographic is for, my viewers here. And it changes over time because the older you get, usually you typically do better. But you get 3 wishes they were realizing because that's all these people had on outstanding qualities. But if you pulled from a pool of like, what was it, 1,000 or 10,000, then you might get 4, but you got to look really hard to get 4. And so really decide what's important to you. Some girls, a lot of girls will say spirituality. I had a gal the other day that she said she wanted to, she was looking for a guy that knew how to play the guitar and sing, and he was musically inclined. And he, she wanted to dance with him, and they could go dancing all the time. And the third one was spirituality. And I thought, are these? I mean, it's her choice, but is she aware? And I just told her, and I told her about the 3 rules. And I says, okay, that's okay. Those are the 3 rules you chose, but realize the guy is only going to be maybe average looking to you. And he's gonna struggle with income, and you're gonna have to work a job to subsidize the whole family itself. And so really pay attention to what you want. I mean, it's not wrong to want what you do, but are you gonna be willing to pay the price to get it?
Yeah, it's always a balance.
Yes, there's always a balance.
So we're gonna close the show in a second, but I wanted to do this real quick. This is from laddertheory.com, which dives a little bit more direct into the ladder theory. Kind of what we went over today. I have a little section here called Ladder Songs, Musical Intonations of Ladder Theory. And I wanted to share these for the people at home because I thought these were rather funny. Cake. Friend is a 4-letter word. Ben Folds 5. Song for the Dumped. Paul McCartney. The Lovers That Never Were. A Perfect Circle, 3 Libras. And then here's one that I was thinking of quite a bit as we were talking. Good Charlotte, Boys and Girls, which I hate to admit that was stuck in my head.
Oh, that's funny.
And finally, and this is probably, there's a bunch of other ones, but this is my favorite one that wraps up the ladder theory of being stuck in the friend zone quite a bit. Well, kind of in between, I guess. I don't know. I just love it. The Offspring Self-Esteem. Perfect. All right, well, that's our show. I want to thank Supreme Chancellor West for coming on and hanging out with me and for some relationship questions. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. See you.
Thank you for listening to the MCS1 Show. For bi-weekly episodes on society, counterculture, and pretty much everything but politics and sports, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or SoundCloud. For regular updates, head to the MCS1Show.com or search the MCS1 Show on any social media platform.